So, do you think your kids should be allowed to choose medications without your permission and knowledge? Do you think kids should be allowed to take a vaccine without parental consent? If you do think kids should be able to do that, how old do you think they have to be at a minimum? Well, there's definitely a very concerning story, and we're going to cover it in just a second. So, did you think about, your kids getting vaccinated or medicated without your permission or knowledge? What did you think about that? I wanted to share a story with you that just came out today, actually. This is from ABC News. And California is taking a look at passing a bill that would allow kids 12 and up to get vaccines without their parents' knowledge or permission. Um, so I saw this today, and it was very concerning to me. I am a parent. My child is an adult now, a young adult, but so he makes his own decision. But he's 21. If my child was 12 and they wanted to vaccinate my child without my permission, I would be assuring that my child could be nowhere near anybody with access to vaccines. So anyway, let's take a look at this article. And only 5 other states allow minors to get vaccines without parent permission. So that was concerning to me as well, because truthfully, I didn't know that that was even truly a thing. I mean, I know they have talked about it recently, but I did not know that that was a thing. So let's take a look and see what those states are. If you want to check out this article, by the way, there's a video that plays here. It's not this woman, but it's another video, and it's actually pretty sad. So I'm not going to play it right now. But so here's the article. A new bill in California would allow children to get vaccinated against diseases, including COVID-19, without their parents' consent. Currently, kids in the state between ages 12 and 17 must receive permission from a parent or guardian to get a vaccine. Of course they should, unless it is to prevent a sexually transmitted infection. However, the new bill introduced Friday by State Senator Scott Wiener, Democrat from San Francisco, and Richard Pan, a Democrat from Sacramento, would allow Californians aged 12 and older to receive vaccines that meet specific federal agency criteria on their own. Under the bill, adolescents could get vaccinated as long as the shots are approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and recommended by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Advisory Committee. So basically what this says is that medically the FDA and the CDC can basically take over your parental right. I mean, we all know that a 12-year-old cannot comprehend everything that needs to be considered when choosing a medication. I would say a large majority of adults can't do that, and oftentimes not through any fault of their own. It's almost impossible to find information, especially these days, without it being tainted by the enforced will of pharmaceutical companies or government officials, making lots of money off of this stuff. So, as of Wednesday, about 63% of Californians aged 12 to 17 are fully vaccinated, according to the State Department of Health. But at least 28% are not. There are nearly 1 million teenagers in California who are not vaccinated against COVID-19, which causes no real threat to their health, and that jeopardizes their own health. That's not true. It makes our schools less safe, Wiener told ABC News. And there we are, triggering the emotional reaction because schools are plenty safe. A lot of these teenagers would like to get vaccinated, but their parents either won't let them or their parents aren't making the time to go with them to get vaccinated. Now my question here is, what are they surveying the students? How do they know this information? Where does this come from? I want to see the data on that. And if I see data, then that means that they're talking to the teenagers behind their parents' back about medical issues. So, there's that. He added, this legislation would allow teens to protect their own health and to get vaccinated against COVID-19, against the flu, and other serious diseases. Here we go with the other states. Washington, D.C., no big surprise, currently allows minors to receive vaccinations on their own starting at age 11. San Francisco also allows kids aged 12 and older to receive COVID-19 shots without parental consent when consent is unavailable. I wonder what consent is unavailable means. I've worked with children all my life, and if a parent is unavailable, there's at least another adult that is supposed to be at least working in the best interest of a minor. But, hey, maybe San Francisco is doing things differently there. Additionally, 5 states allow minors to get vaccinated without parental consent. Alabama allows teens to receive vaccinations. Alabama allows teens to receive vaccines on their own starting at age 14, Oregon at age 15, and Rhode Island, North Carolina, and South Carolina at age 16. Elizabeth Tobin Tyler, an associate professor of health services, policy and practice at Brown University, said these laws are often a result of a mature minor doctrine, which allows minors to give consent provided they can show they are mature enough to make decisions on their own. I don't even have any words for that sentence. That's just ridiculous. The idea is there are minors that might be quite mature at age 12 or 14 and have the capacity to make their own decision, she told ABC News. States have recognized there are situations where we don't want to have someone wait to make a decision at just 18. On a little side note, this is an ideology, and yes, there definitely are some kids that are way more mature than others at age 12 or 14, but this is a mindset that is actually being pushed, not just for making these medical decisions on their own, but also this push for, minors to make sexual-based decisions on their own. And I'm going to cover that with a couple fairly recent articles that were really concerning. So I'm going to share that with you. But the point is that this is an ideology, that 12 or 13, 14-year-olds can make heavy medical decisions. So, anyway. Dr. Georges Benjamin, executive director of the American Public Health Association, said most kids of that age are mature enough to understand medical information that is given to them. I mean, this is just insane, right? They'll hear what you tell them, but do they have the skills to use discernment? This guy is sick. Okay. When you're dealing with kids in medical care, you want to be able to give them with some graduated autonomy about their health, he told ABC News. We're not going to look at any of that propaganda. If the bill passes, California would become the state with the youngest age for children to get vaccinated on their own without permission from an adult. It will serve as an example for other states, Benjamin says. California has often been on the cutting edge of legislation that has become law in other parts of the country. God help us. So it will certainly be an exemplar in that area and will serve as a model for other states, particularly as we see the numbers of kids vaccinated grow. However, not everyone is in favor of the bill. It just seems like this is part of an ongoing war against parents by some Democratic elected officials, California Republican Assemblyman James Gallagher told ABC News. This bill is not about letting children make some sort of decision in a vacuum whether or not they want to get vaccinated. It's about eliminating parents from a decision-making process. That sounds about right to me. He described the bill as a slippery slope and said that it could lead to kids having autonomy to take other medications without parental consent. What other drugs, what other things would a child be able to decide at school or some other place without their parents' consent? Gallagher asked. Now, under California law, minors aged 12 and older are already allowed to be vaccinated against hepatitis B and human papillomavirus, or HPV vaccine, and to receive birth control and treatments for STIs, mental health disorders, and substance abuse. Yeah, I have some concerns there. 12 is a little young. Here's Mr. Scott Wiener. I'll just leave that right there. But Wiener says he doesn't believe the new bill would curb parents' input when it comes to their children's health, because most teens speak to their parents when it comes to making medical decisions. The vast majority of teens, even if they have the ability to get a vaccine, will talk to their parents about the issue, Wiener said. We want parents to be involved in their kids' health care, and I am confident that many, many teens will talk to their parents about it. Then why do you need to do this? He continued, sadly, there are some teens who are not in a position to talk to their parents about it. For whatever reason, they can't have those conversations, and in those situations, a teenager should be able to protect their own health. Well, 12 is not a teenager, first of all. Benjamin said that the idea of providing teens with autonomy is not new or radical and could actually help teenagers think critically and analytically. We do this in a lot of other areas in our lives, he said. We give them driver's license at age 16 as they are able to mature both emotionally and physically. Parents should think of this as part of allowing their kids to have more control over their health decision making. From a mental health and psychological perspective, this should be thought of as giving kids more responsibility, and I think overall it's a good thing. So, there it is. What do you think about that? Do you think that minors should have to wait until 18? Maybe 16 is all right for medical decisions like, different vaccinations and different types of things like that. I actually, with the STI, STD thing, I have some different thoughts about that, but not starting at age 12. But yeah, this is about, kids getting vaccinated without parent permission or knowledge as young as age 12. So I'm interested to see what you, what you think about that. And so leave a comment, something like that. And I'm interested because it is really appalling to me. And I don't know that some things in California do spread to the rest of the country, but that's why we perhaps should all care. If you don't want to see this spread to your neck of the woods, if you're not in California, then maybe it's something that you want to pay attention to. So anyway, I'll see you on the next time. Thanks for watching and sticking with me.